Welcome everyone. In today's video, I wanted to talk about Optimism. So Optimism is an Ethereum Layer 2 optimistic rollup. So effectively what this will allow you to do is transact on chain, be it, trading NFTs or doing DeFi stuff, but with a fraction of the cost that you see on Ethereum Layer 1. So Optimism is effectively its own blockchain, but it is secured by Ethereum. So if you wanted to use Optimism, you'd have to bridge your funds over to Optimism's blockchain to actually start transacting there. So effectively what it does is that it will take people's transactions, bundle them up, and then verify them off chain and then post those proofs to Ethereum Layer 1. And that's how they're able to increase scalability as well as reduce costs as well. So let's just take a look into the pros and cons of optimistic rollups. So you can find this on ethereum.org, and I'll link all of these websites that you'll see in this video in the description down below. So the pros of optimistic rollups is that it allows you to do anything that you can do on Ethereum Layer 1, because optimistic rollups are already EVM compatible and Solidity compatible, meaning that you can port dApps over easily. And so these optimistic rollup ecosystems can easily be populated from developers who already know Solidity, who have already developed dApps to go on Ethereum Layer 1 or onto Avalanche, onto Phantom, onto Harmony, so on and so forth. Another pro is that all transaction data is stored on the Layer 1 chain, meaning that it's secure and decentralized. However, there are a couple of downsides to optimistic rollups. For example, there are long wait times for on-chain transactions due to potential fraud challenges. So when you actually want to bridge off of an optimistic rollup, if you're using the official bridge, it can take up to 7 days when you're doing that. This is due to potential fraud challenges, and they just want to make sure that all of the transactions are legitimate. Additionally, an operator can influence transaction ordering. So this is minor extractable value. So you see this on Ethereum Layer 1, where people will get front run, back run, sandwich, so on and so forth. That can still happen on optimistic rollups as well. But if we just go into layer2fees.info, we can see some of the advantages that optimistic rollups actually bring. So the cost of actually sending ETH costs 40 cents right now if you're transacting on Optimism, and it's only 60 cents if you want to do a token swap. As you can see here, Ethereum Layer 1 fees are exponentially more. To even send ETH, it's almost $2.50, and to do any token swapping, it's $12.46. So Optimism is currently one of the cheapest optimistic rollups to transact on right now. It's slightly more expensive than Metis. However, it's going to get cheaper over time as more and more people actually use the Optimism rollup. This is because gas costs are socialized, meaning that the more people that actually use Optimism and transact on the network, the cheaper it becomes for everyone. Additionally, we have cool data compression improvements coming along, as well as various different EIPs to make it cheaper for data availability and actually posting proofs to Ethereum Layer 1 itself. So you can expect Optimism, Arbitrum, and the rest of the rollups to have their costs anywhere between like 1 and 10 cents within the next year. Now, you may have heard that ZK rollups are the dominant Ethereum scaling solution, and they will be in the future. However, we're about 4 to 5 years away from them seeing their true potential. So in the meanwhile, we can still transact on optimistic rollups, and they can still provide a lot of benefits. So whilst rollups are currently unoptimized right now and the costs are higher than they should be, a lot of the projects that deploy on Optimism, on Arbitrum, on these optimistic rollups, they're just forks of Ethereum Layer 1 projects, meaning that they're not actually optimized for going onto these rollups. So if they did optimize for optimistic rollups, they can get massive fee reductions. For example, RVV3 managed to drop fees by up to 10x. So we can see that the costs of transacting on these optimistic rollups are actually going to go down massively in the future. And in fact, they'll probably be cheaper than transacting on ZK rollups fairly soon. So there are some risks to using Optimism. So funds can be stolen if an invalid state root is submitted to the system. Additionally, a contract can receive a malicious code upgrade, and there's no delayed on code upgrades. So the Optimism team can just upgrade the code on Optimism to just steal all of your funds if they wanted to. I mean, that is extremely unlikely, but the thing with, crypto and blockchain is that we want it to be as trustless as possible, and so these risks will be mitigated in the future. However, they are still risks that you have to worry about right now. Funds can also be frozen if the centralized validator goes down, so users cannot produce blocks themselves, and exiting the system requires new block production. So right now, we have a single validator controlled by Optimism who actually produce all of the blocks, and if that goes down, then you can't actually exit from Optimism itself. Additionally, we also have MEV that can be extracted. So if you wanted to go ahead and use Optimism, you would need to actually add it to your MetaMask. So you can go to optimistic.etherscan.io, scroll all the way down, and you can add OP network here. You do that, it will add the network to your MetaMask, and then you can go ahead and bridge your funds over. Now, with regards to bridges, if you go to optimism.io/apps/bridges, you can see various different bridges that will take you to Optimism itself. So Hop, Synapse, Across, Seller, the Optimism gateway itself, Orbiter. There are various different bridges that you can take. Orbiter Finance is a really good one if you want to hop from layer 2 to layer 2. I think Live Finance is also excellent too, as it also allows you to hop from other EVM blockchains over to Optimism itself. You can also choose for your tokens to be swapped into different ones when you want to bridge them over to Optimism, which is quite cool as well. Now, just taking a look at the Optimism ecosystem, we can see that there isn't a lot here right now. I mean, you have Lyra Finance, Synthetics, Perpetual Protocol, 1inch, Uniswap, and a bunch of bridges. Aave, Synapse, that sort of thing, but not a lot when you compare it to other ecosystems such as, say, Avalanche or Phantom. Optimism has only been around for about a year, and they've only taken their whitelist off for approved protocols, I think, since December. So there hasn't been a lot of time for teams to actually start deploying to Optimism, but we'll see more and more dApps coming to Optimism over time, because right now it kind of feels like you can experience DeFi circa 2019 on Optimism right now. But this is how it starts. Obviously, there's going to be changes. If we go onto DeFi Llama, we can see a lot of the dApps that you can use. So Synthetics, surprisingly enough, they have dominance on Optimism. So you can see here they have a 37.97% dominance on Optimism. Uniswap, Stargate, that's a bridge. Synapse, that's a bridge. Perpetual Protocol. So this is a perpetual futures exchange and well worth using if you are looking to transact on Optimism and you want to trade perps. And we also just have a bunch of other protocols here as well. Curve is here, but as you can see, very little TVL. Polynomial protocol, this is an options protocol. Aave v3 has deployed to Optimism, but as of right now, not much that you can do here. However, I think it makes sense for you to get yourself positioned onto Optimism and start using it. As you can see here, the TVL over time has grown tremendously. And in the last month, TVL has grown tremendously as well. There are going to be lots more opportunities for DeFi and NFT stuff on Optimism in the future. And I expect fees to drop a lot, as well as transactions to get a lot faster as well. So I think it makes sense for you to set yourself up on Optimism. So that's the video. That's just a quick introduction into Optimism. I hope you enjoyed the video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos like this one.